Cast.
Yo, what's up, GG Nation, GG Legion? It's your fella again, Straussman the GG, and welcome to another Spoilercast.
Did you change your pose? You just did this.
Yeah, no, I just was saying what up.
Alright.
But anyway, welcome to another Spoilercast, and we gave you guys plenty of time. This is the big one we wanted to talk about for a while now. We're doing the God of War PS4 Spoilercast for you. New subs shout out. Thank you guys. We're well over 15,000 views. We're already on our way to 16,000. New sub shout out. I hope you guys watch. If not, I'll put you on. Usually I do it on the main GG and Friends podcast, which will have another one for you eventually. E3s are right around the corner. MegaCons are literally right around the corner. We're going to have plenty of fun in podcasts. And we'll have some video and stuff of us at the con having fun. That'll make for us for sure. Definitely a lot of things going on. Deadpool 2 Spoilercast, Star Wars, Han Solo Star Wars movie Spoilercast, but that is the actual day of MegaCon, so that will be a little bit later. Like the movie will be watched probably the week after. We're gonna be having fun at MegaCon. That can be put aside. Sorry. Solo.
Yeah, it's only solo.
Yeah, it's just solo. But new sub shout out, Shaddai Jones, Detroit Lions fan, #1 DLM59. Thanks to both of you joining the GG Nation, GG Legion.
Boo.
We are growing. Huh?
Oh, we should. Never mind. We'll talk about
He's a Patriots fan. Forget about Chad. But here we go. Before we dive into 9 spoilers, which first half non-spoilers, second half spoilers, we're going to jump right into spoilers. We're going to try to go as fast as possible because that's what Chad, he just wants to talk about the juicy parts. And I agree. I want to talk spoilers too. I really, really want to talk spoilers. But I just want to get some preliminary thoughts of just this game in general. Give you guys a sense of it because I know some of you are still playing through it. So definitely do not watch this night phase because I know you're not done with the game yet. So definitely hold off a little bit. Or you can watch the non-spoiler part. Then come back and then watch the spoiler part for sure. But what do you think overall of the changes of the God of War setting, gameplay, cinematic experience, etc.? You know, new voice actors. There's so much to talk about. But just overall, what were your initial thoughts of just playing this game? Popping that disc in and just seeing that beginning. Like, what was...
Excited, mostly, just because...
You were pretty pumped when you picked it up.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you weren't excited for the game to come out, you probably weren't looking forward to it.
Yeah.
But just seeing all the trailers beforehand and the gameplay videos, I was intrigued at the way they wanted to, the direction they wanted to go with, the fighting gameplay aspect of the game,
They changed
the
everything.
more storytelling parts of the game, and having the game be more involved with the characters instead of it just being like
we kill a bunch of enemies
instead of
and
it just
move on.
being like a big old brawl fest.
But don't mistake that. It's still very much God of War. It will take you maybe a little bit to get used to it, but once you get into it...
No. That was actually the first thought I had with the very first fight sequence. Like, oh, this is really different. And then as soon as I was done with it, I was like, no, this is still God of War.
Yeah, very much
this
so.
Is very, even though obviously what you're doing is slightly different, the camera angle is different.
Yeah.
It's a little more impactful because you're right there.
Yeah, you're seeing it from full perspective.
But yeah, what they did was amazing.
Yeah, that first scene was epic for sure. I absolutely love this. I don't know a lot about Norse mythology, so I did some research to look up some
big
stuff.
Old rabbit hole, from what I understand.
But I love the fact about this game that they did that. They kind of they went to a new realm per se. Well, we'll dive into that in this one second. But they, Kratos moved on from Greek and he wanted to start a new life, new family.
I wouldn't say he moved on.
Well, you can't really move on from that, right?
It's gonna happen to
you can't really. Well,
fall
he's trying
in the ocean
to.
and wash up on the shore somewhere.
Yeah, he tried to get away from it per se. Let's say, but he He's 0 for 2 with wives, by the way. They're both dead. Both wives are dead.
Well, at least from what we understand, this one died of more natural causes instead of by his own hands.
Yeah.
Big difference.
Yeah, definitely for sure. But I love the direction they took Kratos for sure, absolutely as well. It's more of an intimate experience between father and son. That's what it really is. And the Last of Us comparisons, I feel like
they're not very good.
They gotta go. You can't compare every game to the Last of Us is amazing, but it is absolutely one of the best games.
It draws ideas and certain ways things work or their actual engagements.
Yeah.
But you cannot compare the games. They're not.
But they're very different still. They're still very miles apart, different. So you can't, some people use that as a negative. Use it more as a positive because both games are phenomenal and you can be playing both games.
That's the other thing. When people are comparing these games and saying that oh, this game's a lot like The Last of Us, it's not a knock on the game, obviously, and it might come across that way to most people.
Yeah.
But I think this game takes a lot from a bunch of games.
Yeah.
Like Last of Us, but uses the very good parts of it.
Yeah.
It doesn't obviously tropes and everything else. When you're working as a pair, or you're going through a game as a pair, you kind of get the idea of oh, this is I'm trying to escort this person somewhere, or I'm trying to carry this person that really can't make this journey on.
What did you think of the new voice actor for Kratos? Did you like?
Oh, they did a great job.
He did phenomenal. It was so perfect.
All the voice actors
it was almost like a natural progression of Kratos.
Yeah.
That's how I would think he would sound older for sure.
I don't really necessarily think his voice changes too much.
Not too much. It's a little bit deeper. It's very impactful, I would say. Right, that opening scene alone is impactful.
I just think he himself is more impactful in the game, so they make his voice come across like that.
Especially because a valid point too.
Especially because they're trying to get him, they're trying to make him seem like a father at the same time, and
they did a good job,
and be a stern one at that, because obviously it is Kratos.
Without spoilers, what are some of the newer Norse characters besides Kratos? We know Kratos is great. He's phenomenal. He's the best character.
This is all spoiler.
Just don't. I don't know. I wouldn't say one
because all of them are okay. There's 9 characters in the game total.
Sindri, Brock.
This is all spoiling. Sindri, Brock. Doesn't matter. This is a spoiler cast. Sorry.
Okay.
Faye, if you want to counter as one. Yeah. Faye, if you want to counter as one.
Yeah.
Mimir.
He was one of my...
Modi and Agni. That's 8. I don't even think there is another one.
Thamir's corpse, but he's not really a character.
No, those are all...
Not really a character.
None
He's
of those
more
are
of a
really
landmark.
Characters, exactly.
It's more of a landmark.
There's
but what was some of your new favorites?
8 characters in this entire game?
What were some of your new favorites, though?
Oh, no, I only have one favorite. Because technically...
It's Atreus?
Technically, the rest of them are...
You didn't like anybody? You didn't like anybody else?
Oh, Atreus. No, Atreus is 9. There you go. I forgot about that.
So he was your favorite Atreus?
No, Mimir's my favorite character by far.
Oh my god, dude, I love
Atreus
Mimir.
that much, to tell you the truth, but I don't think he's a bad character. He didn't detract from the story or the gameplay at all. I actually thought his involvement in the combat was really well done.
I absolutely loved Mimir. He was one of my favorite characters. Especially because you get him a little bit quarter way through the story, maybe a little halfway.
No, it's quarter.
It's about a quarter. You get Mimir about a quarter way. I thought he was one of the best characters. Just his little quips, even when they're just talking on the boat, those intimate moments.
Okay,
were some of the best.
This is a beautiful way to give backstory and fill in little gaps of time. Just to have this head dangling from your waist. That is so interesting and so it's. You would never think that just this guy's head that's dangling from Kratos' hip, is literally filling you in on hundreds and thousands of years of
Yeah, he's been
Norse
alive for a long
mythology,
time. He's been alive for a long time.
I can't even tell you how many times I was rowing around the boat and Mimir and Atreus were just popping off about something that happened in Norse mythology, and I was just like, you know what? I'm not gonna land yet. I'm gonna row some more. I want to hear the end of the story, and I do like how they kind of stop. Like, if you did land, they'd stop the story and then continue it. And once you got
where he's like, "Hey, we'll talk about the story later." I do like that a lot too, because they're not talking over combat.
But it also puts in front, all this stuff is important.
Yeah,
they want you to hear this. Like, this is, it's one of the best ways that I've ever actually taken in a story. In a video game.
It was really fun. Mimir is just a great person in general. Yeah. He's really funny.
I like how he's really sarcastic. I like
the two brothers, Brock and Sidri, a lot. I mean, they were hilarious.
You need to say their names right.
What? Well, I said Brock right.
Sindri, bro.
Sindri, whatever.
Sin. But you can't mess up the names, man.
But I like how they're like two halves of a coin. Like like Brock's the grumpy, go F yourself.
He's the one who doesn't care, and the other one's the germaphobe.
And then, he's a germaphobe, and he's very sensitive, and I like him a lot.
What's that movie?
I love The Witch in the Woods as well. We'll talk a lot about her in Spoilercast.
What's the movie with Ben Stiller, where he's like a big germaphobe? That's what I like. The whole time I was playing the game, I kept referencing.
Oh, dude, I know what you're talking about, too. I know that movie, too.
Remember.
But I can't. I like The Witch in the Woods. I thought she was really good. She was a really good character. I loved Kratos and Atreus. Obviously, their interactions. I actually really enjoyed Atreus. I was like, a lot of people were really concerned that he was going to be annoying, and he absolutely is not annoying at all.
He was at first though, and then he was in the middle when he gained his confidence.
Yeah, we'll talk about it in a second.
Shit on that little fricker.
But
I'm pretty sure. You know what? If there's one thing I took away, like, after playing this and like even talking about it now, it just kind of popped in my head.
Yeah.
I wish there was an R2 trigger button
to smack him.
To smack him. That would have been so cool because it would have been your choice. Like, it would have been like something real quick, like a 2-second like thing. Like you could press R2 to slap his ass real quick, just to be like.
That would be funny, but. Before we dive into a spoiler cast, there's a couple more questions I want to ask. So I already know what you thought of Atreus right there.
But like I said, he's fine. His twist and everything that comes at the end of the game, it leads into a bigger story.
And we'll talk about it. We're going to dive right into it really soon.
For him as a character is big. It's good.
What do you, what do you think of this overall journey for Kratos and Atreus? Like, what would you consider, like, one of the best experiences you have? Amazing experience? Like, what would...
As far as my experiences with single-player games?
Yeah.
Well,
that is your forte. That's what you like to do a lot, too.
I would say this is probably... As far as story goes, this is the best single-player game I've ever played.
Did you play Last of Us?
Yeah.
Okay.
I did not finish it.
Oh,
I know I was pretty close to the end.
Yeah.
I got to like where they get to the university where the Fireflies are supposed to be, and that fight happens in there, and that little scene happens afterwards, and I just kind of like.
You were close.
I was kind of like sick of just it. Just was really repetitive at that point, and I wasn't invested in the story.
Yeah.
So I kind of just gave up on it.
Gotcha.
I just moved on to better things at that point. It wasn't a bad game though. No knocks against it.
Are you gonna try to replay it when 2 comes out?
No. You're
just gonna dive right into 2?
I might not even play 2. I might just watch someone play 2.
Okay. Fair enough.
It's like I said, it was like I didn't have that connection with Ellie that everybody else made.
Yeah.
I always thought Joel was a dick. And everybody else kind of thought that way too, but everybody liked Joel.
Yeah. Well, it's very much like this is about father and son.
Same thing with Kratos.
This one's about
same thing in Kratos and Atreus.
Father and daughter.
But reverse for me,
yeah.
Because I find Kratos as the more likable character.
Yeah. They did a good job making him really likable in this game, even though technically still kind of doing bad stuff.
Well, It's hard to say that because, like, even though you're...
Yeah, what is really right and wrong?
Yeah, because even if you go back and look at the original games, what happened to Kratos is messed up, so you can technically justify his feelings.
Especially that first game, you know, he murdered his wife and kid.
I'm pretty sure Mimir even says it in this game. He's like, don't get me wrong, the Greek gods were gonna get what they deserved. Like, they deserved what they got. Like, so... Was Kratos really a bad guy? Was he really doing bad things? Like, I know he was being extremely selfish back in the past, but he's technically a god. Aren't all gods selfish in a way? And
yeah. And they actually, like you said, they kind of explain that. Like, with gods, there's no technically right or wrong. Right. They just kind of do what they want to do.
And for me, this was like Kratos' second chance at having a normal life.
Yeah, he tried hard. He tried hard.
And just the way that things unfolded on him, especially because, big spoiler at the end of the game, he's sitting there and he's telling his son,
jump into that.
Looks like I'm not the only one who had secrets.
Yeah.
But, that's a huge, spin at the end right there. Like, a big 360.
That ending was
beautiful. But that also made me appreciate Atreus more as a character.
Yeah. So... I thought Atreus, for me personally, I didn't think he was annoying at all. I thought he was a really good character. There's one part I don't like about him, but we'll talk about it in the Spoilercast. But
almost on Morgana level when Morgana keeps telling you to go to sleep. And Atreus is like, "Oh,
Shut
no,
up,
let's
cat.
keep going. Let's keep doing this, Dad. Let's keep doing this." Like, no, son, I want to go look at this beach for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
God damn it.
It's an amazing experience what Chad had when he plays the games. He finished about 60, 70 hours. I finished about 40 hours. The lake part was funny. I got a funny story to tell about Nightface because we were talking on Party Chat while we were playing God of War a week and a half ago. And I was way further ahead than he was. But he was like level 1 or 2, but he stayed in the lake right when you get to the lake of 9. He went everywhere trying to kill everything at level 1.
That's what I did.
And
that's exactly what I did.
He died like 100 times. It was super funny. I'm like, bro,
Levi, remember when I called you and I was like, dude, I've died like 50 times and I've only been playing for like 3 or 4 hours.
Will punish you.
Well, even in the first
fight, yeah.
Not first boss fight, because I think the first boss fight is
something
part
else
of the intro.
Yeah,
but the first, what I like to call them as story fights.
The troll.
There's three big story fights in the game.
I agree for sure, absolutely.
And the first big one, I don't even remember where I was going with this, but that point, it was so good.
It was, but we're gonna right here.
So
we're gonna end the non-spoilers here. Anything else you want to add non-spoiler in?
No, there's really nothing much.
There's one thing I want to add. Go play
this
the
whole
game. It's phenomenal.
If you didn't touch this game at all and you don't know anything about it, it's hard to talk about this game and not spoil anything.
And honestly,
even mentioning Atreus' name sometimes can be a little bit of a spoiler.
Yeah, but
because
we'll dive into
the things that happen to him. You just it's hard not to spill something.
Honestly, if you haven't played the original trilogy or any of the other 7 games, or God of War Betrayal, the phone game, which is the best game of all. If you haven't played any of those, you don't have to. They do reference, I do love how they reference back to God of War 1, 2, and 3 in the original trilogy, what has happened in the past, but this is almost a soft reboot in a lot of ways. You can play it standalone. You might miss out on some of the background noise a little bit with Mimir and Kratos talking about his past, which we'll dive into. But for the most part, you can, if you haven't played, I've seen a lot of people, and the day it actually came out, it beat Fortnite. It had over 200,000 people playing this. It sold 3.1 million copies in 3 days.
Top 5 on Twitch for streaming for the
for a while,
weekend, yeah. Which was that's unheard of for single player games.
And the fact that it sold 3.1 million copies in 3 days is absolutely bonkers.
pretty good.
And a lot of people want to say single player experience is dead, and it's not. It's never going away.
Sorry, Xbox.
Yeah, but it's really, really good. Go play it. Seriously, guys, we're jumping into spoilers. Also, sorry, JJ. Wish I could have you on here. Almost if I had a tablet, I could try to put you here and have you talk. But
He's too far away, dog.
God of War is one of his most. He literally bought a PlayStation for this game, and it's fantastic. But he's played a lot of other games as well. But let's jump right into the spoilers. Let's start having some fun with the spoilers. And what do you think of the main...
This is what I wanted to disagree with you about. In no way, shape, or form do I actually think that there is a actual main villain in this game.
But in terms of game sense, he's the bad guy. Baldir...
I honestly don't think so.
It's an interesting take, but he's the main guy you fight.
He's just trying to find escape and release. Like, he's just trying to cure his own pain, which
he doesn't know
brought
pain.
Upon.
He doesn't know pain at all.
But
really.
at the same time, like, that is his pain.
Yeah,
the fact that
his inner pain. Yeah,
he can't feel anything.
He can't escape it. Like you said, he just wants to die.
He wants to die. He wants to feel.
But what do you think of him? Like, what do you really think of that? Like, because you were concerned. Like, I remember specifically when you called me and you're like, "Oh, I don't think he's the final boss fight." I always thought he was going to be the final boss.
And truthfully, technically, he isn't. Because you're like, even though you're fighting him, you're only fighting him to stop him from killing her.
Yeah, Freya.
And
Odin's wife.
She is technically trying to kill you because you're trying to kill him to stop him from killing. Like, it's kind of weird how.
Well, she can't kill. She can't. Like, that's her curse. That's Odin's curse upon her. That she can't literally hurt anybody.
No, but that her herself can't.
Yeah.
So that's why she takes control
of Thamir's core.
Yeah. Which also is another little spoiler for the side note, and how she is technically the main Valk, and why she isn't a Valk anymore.
Yeah.
That kind of fits along those same lines.
Yeah, absolutely. She's amazing. I really love her. I know you didn't care for him. I really enjoyed her as a character.
But in my eyes, she's more of the main villain than anybody else is, because she technically starts this chain of events that leads down that road. And
in some ways.
I mean, but like you said, I guess you can consider Baldur the main villain just because you do have the two big climactic fights with them. No, there's two. I guess, there's
the beginning, the dragon.
I guess there is the dragon one.
And then boom.
That wasn't really a fight, though, was it?
Yeah, a little bit. They gave you control a little bit.
Yeah, while you're on the dragon.
Yeah, when when you're doing the MMA attacks.
Yeah. Which was
really cool.
No, how they did that and
how seamless it was.
Well, and how they incorporated it into the final fight.
Yeah.
And didn't have to explain to you what was going on.
Yeah.
Like how that fight just transitions from phase to phase to phase.
God of War is really known for those.
Pause, and you just kind of like.
God of War is known for those big moments, and a lot of people fear they weren't there, but we'll tell you they're there. They're here. There are a lot of them.
The cool thing about Baldur, just to get back into him, the opening
boss fight was epic, man.
That scene where he's just standing at the door and he's like,
who did you think he was?
I knew he wasn't Loki.
That's who I thought he was. I thought he was Loki.
I knew he wasn't just because.
Yeah, I really thought about it. The God of Mischief. He ain't gonna do that. He ain't gonna do that.
Yeah,
he ain't gonna do that.
Yeah, but same thing, like how you're saying, he's not gonna be one to throw fists in your face.
Yeah.
Especially to Kratos. You
yeah.
know? Oh my God. But the whole thing comes back to like him, honestly, not even looking for Kratos. Like he's not looking for Kratos. He's looking for Faye.
Yeah.
He's trying to get to Jotunheim.
Yeah.
To cure his curse, which obviously he doesn't know that's not there. The only thing that can cure his curse is these stupid green arrows for some god unknown reason.
I like how they also.
I do like how they did that. Though.
I also like how they talk about how Odin and Thor are bad people in this game. Like they are considered not good people.
But that goes with the main theme of God of War. Is that gods aren't perfect beings.
But I like the fact that they're not they're spoken about, but they're not technically in this game. We'll talk about that secret ending in the second here.
Yeah.
But I thought Baldur was a phenomenal building.
I thought that secret scene was more fan service than anything, but
True. Yeah, I know, and I want to talk about it with you for sure. I thought he was a great villain. Right from the get-go, I was like, who the hell is this guy talking? This little Viking man.
Well, you remember when you first hear it,
Yeah.
like, it sounds like a giant is walking up to the house. And like, oh my God, what the hell is this?
Yeah,
huge
what's going
thing
on?
outside? And then you open the door, and it's just
This little guy.
little short Norse Scottish
And
looking
he's
dude.
smacking Kratos, and I'm like, oh my goodness.
Oh, he's punching Kratos.
Yeah, but he did smack him a couple times.
I thought it was straight punches.
Like,
and Kratos just
disrespected.
was like eating the punches.
He disrespected Kratos, and then he all of a sudden you see his power, and he sends you flying.
Though when Kratos punches him the first time, he's like, "I told you to leave."
Yeah.
And he turns back and looks at the house, and he's like, "Should I do this while the kid's here?"
Yeah, I like how he mentioned that.
Like he wants to turn around and kill this guy because he won't just leave him alone.
Yeah.
And Baldur gets up from getting thrashed and
sends Kratos flying. That's amazing.
Now it's my turn, and Kratos goes flying over the house, and oh my God, who the hell is this?
Like you said, he's very much like a sympathetic villain because you feel for the kid. You want him just to move on.
Yeah.
Like that's what he wants, and his mom doesn't understand it. Like his mom,
no one really does.
Like his mom wants him around. Please, just I'm sorry I did this to you, but I want you around. I don't want. And he just wants to escape it all because he can't feel anything. He can't feel nothing, and he just wants to, that hurts him more than anything.
Yeah,
that hurts, like that inner pain right there. He just wants to be free of it, and to the point where he gets his nephews involved a little bit because he's one of Thor's brothers. They explain these guys they don't wear condoms. They just bang everything.
I don't know if he actually brings them like into the fold, or they're more just since
tagging along, right?
Well, my thing is with this is that even though they're Thor's kids,
yeah,
they seem more evil, and
they do.
This is gonna be something we're gonna get into a little later about what I think Thor represents in this franchise, but I think they're just mischievous, and they kind of just follow Baldur anyways because Baldur's around.
Yeah, it's like we're hanging around with Uncle.
Yeah,
we're just
but Thor isn't, and since Baldur's the one that's here, why not follow Baldur?
Yeah, make a name. They want to. Obviously, they all want to make a name for themselves. Exactly. Is what gods do. You explained that Freya, Odin's wife, the witch in the woods, who was one of my favorite characters. What do you explained that she was probably the main villain in your eyes? Go ahead and explain. She really helps you a lot during this journey.
She does, and
then
also
it's kind of a big twist, kind of at the end.
You think about this because before the second Baldur fight happens, you go back to her and she destroys the arrows that Sindri gave you, which somehow ends up being Baldur's weakness at the end of the game.
If you really think about it,
which is kind of like a crazy twist that, like, because for the split second there, it reminds you that, well, why, is Sindri bad then? Like, is Sindri the one trying to mess us up?
It makes you think for sure. I like that a lot.
Or is she just trying to, like, save someone else? Because you didn't really know why she would do that because it was kind of like a really sudden thing. Like,
yeah, it was.
You didn't get any explanation about these arrows.
Well,
they weren't anything
for
cool.
A good half of the game, you didn't know who she was. She was just this person. Atreus didn't trust her, and because he doesn't trust what? He doesn't trust any gods. He hates gods.
He doesn't trust anyone with powers. Period.
Yeah, he doesn't trust. But we find out that it's Freya. It's Odin's wife. Mimir knows her. Freya makes Mimir alive again somehow, which is funny. And then he's just, like you said, the talking head on your holster there.
But I don't. At the same time, I'm like real conflicted about this because
it's an interesting point. I want to see what
you
think.
Kratos loses trust and then quickly has to either A, gain it back, or just B, suck it up and realize that the only person that can help his son when the whole thing happens is her. So he has to bring back.
What happens to little Atreus?
Well, we're not there yet. We'll
okay.
get into it in a second. But when he does have to bring him back to her, like, he has to own up to the fact that, I don't trust this lady, but I don't really have a choice. like I have to bring Atreus back to her, or Atreus is probably gonna die. So
Yeah.
you think about it in like Kratos' hands. Like Kratos, like if Kratos could take care of the problem by himself,
he would have.
He would have.
Yeah.
He would have just killed everyone and then shoved some plants in his mouth and said, "Get better, boy." And then
you also think of Kratos of not really changing a lot, and I think you say he's kind of just the same dude. I see a lot of different, but you made a lot of valid points. Like, go ahead and explain your point.
I do believe it's because of
how he's presented,
how
right?
he's presented, and how this game is presented.
To me,
you
I feel
have
like
to be more intimate with a character you're following around. That's literally you're right over his shoulder the whole game.
Yeah.
So you have to feel and relate, or at least somewhat get attached to this character. And
for me, I see
they had to open him up a little bit to.
For me, I see it in a little bit of the other way, because this is like his second chance to be a dad and a husband.
That too.
And I see like.
But
like
that doesn't
he
make
does change. He's not as angry. He still is angry. He always will be.
That's the thing. He admits it himself.
Yeah.
I haven't changed. I'm still a monster. Yeah. I'm just no longer your monster.
Yeah, he's just trying to.
He's trying to be.
He's trying to. He's very.
He's just trying to escape his past, but be a better person than he was in his past.
Very John Marston like, trying to the sins of the past. He's trying to get rid. Like he doesn't want to pass on to his kid.
He doesn't change himself though, because Kratos is still very much Kratos.
Yeah, but it's like you said, it could be presented. But for me, I saw it as a more deep dive for him. We get this. At least we get to find out more about him.
Actually, you know what? I didn't even think about this. He does the same thing in God of War 3 with Pandora. Yeah. He does the exact same thing. He treats Pandora as a person. He treats Pandora like he cares for Pandora. Where the other gods did it. The other gods
but
he even like somewhat cares for Pandora and shows feelings for it.
Yeah.
So I like, even going back to the other games, like Kratos does and has shown compassion for characters. Like, yeah, he at the beginning of that game where he saves
not Poseidon's wife.
I was gonna say where he saves Poseidon's chick and then technically sacrifices her at the end of that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he did. He saved her and then he had to sacrifice her. I mean,
get over here, Poseidon's wife. Or girl, or mistress, or whatever.
But no, I didn't even think about that. But that kind of adds a little more believable, I guess.
What you can take out of this.
But to think that Kratos can be more compassionate and show it.
Yeah.
But to like that.
But they did a phenomenal job conveying that, though. You saw that. Yeah. You saw the whole spectrum of him. You saw the highs and lows again. Where he didn't want this to happen, and it happened again.
Well, the things that resonated me with most are the scenes where he, like, the past physically and visibly, like, haunts him. So, like, at the beginning
Valhalla?
of the game
Valhalla?
Where the... What?
You're talking about Valhalla, where he saw Zeus and everybody again?
That's not even Valhalla. That's Helheim.
Yeah, you're right. God, I keep thinking about
Dang, Levi.
Valhalla's their heaven, right? That's what it is.
Yeah.
My bad. I got it mixed up.
Helheim is an actual place.
Yeah, Helheim, yeah. It's been a little bit. I beat it and I started playing some other stuff.
You completely threw me off track.
I'm sorry.
But yeah, anyways, to your statement, Valhalla is like the gods' version of heaven.
Yeah.
And Helheim is like.
But you're saying he's trying to.
What
you were trying to say is him kind of escaping his past, even in the beginning where he's wrapping the bandages.
Oh, yeah, that scene at the beginning where he's like the bandage falls off and he sits there for a second and like thinks about all
the things.
Whether it's just the things he's been through or what he's about to go through. Yeah. And just having to like realize like I have to take care of this kid, and I have all these burdens and all this weight that's already on my shoulders.
A lot of weight on his shoulders
from the past.
But he tries so hard. Like that first hunt when they kill that deer, he there's so many subtle nods. He's trying to,
I'm glad he doesn't do that.
Yeah.
Like, cause.
Well, he doesn't. Like you said, he pulls back a little.
Like even at the end of the game where he kind of does open up and is a little more affectionate. Like I kind of wish he wasn't.
Because I like.
I know it makes the moment feel better, but at the same time, it's very un-Kratos-like.
I mean, a pat on the shoulder is good enough, all right? We're not getting hugs or anything. Like,
No,
it's
I
good.
don't want no goddamn pats on the shoulder. Stop patting me on the goddamn shoulder.
What was your favorite boss fight in the game? Because they were all excellent. They were all excellent.
It's probably the one I haven't beaten.
Oh, the optional boss?
To tell you the truth, out of all the fights in the game, like, not that they were easy, but
yeah, they weren't.
There was more of kind of like this methodical, like, okay, I've gotten my ass whooped so many times. Maybe I do just need to kind of like slow down and block more and pay attention more.
For me, I'll let you think about it. For me, it was the dragon. I loved that.
The dragon fight was pretty cool.
The dragon fight in the mountain where you're inside this mountain and you fight this dragon. At first, I was like, what is this, a griffin? I'm like, it's got to be a dragon. It's got to be. Like, it looks like a bird with the mouth. And it shoots lightning, which is different from dragon. Normal dragons is normal fire. Which is cool. I like how it shot lightning, and then how big this thing was. I love the fact too. And then when you threw the bombs to blow it up, and you could see the damage on it, and the way he just kills the thing at the end was epic. Like, it was amazing. It was so good.
Oh, that's one thing I would love to talk about. Even though they're very similar, his R3 finishers, bro, they're so enjoyable.
Yeah.
So enjoyable.
Well, man, there were some epic ones he did to the trolls. There were some epic ones.
I'm pretty sure all the troll ones are relatively the same.
Most of them, but there was the
ones that carry the stone.
The Elfheim one was a little
pillars.
Different. Not Elfheim, sorry. Helheim one was different a little bit.
Oh yeah, because he had to.
He stabbed.
Actually, you know what? That scene.
Woo!
That's like a good callback to the old games, because you hadn't seen him do anything like that vicious the entire game.
Yeah. What does he get back too? What's he get back?
Oh yeah, because he
gets the Blades of Chaos. What'd you think of that? Like, did you like that?
Terrible way to just spoil the Blades of Chaos on your Spoilercast. He's kind of like ripped it out. Oh, what did you get back?
We're in the spoiler section.
Yeah, but like, you can't let up with like how he gets him back instead of like.
Well, you and me discussed.
Let's just talk about how he had to rip open the dude's chest in the middle with the Blades of Chaos. It was like, not yet.
What'd you think of? Like, you and me talked about it, because we really discussed, like, on a couple podcasts ago, like, was he gonna get the blades again? And I thought he was gonna get them at the end, but we got him like midway through the game.
Yeah, I guess you can consider it the midway point.
I would say so, for sure. Him kind of discovering the sins of his past, and you see Athena again, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, because you're right, because the Modi thing happens.
It's when you're by yourself for a while, yeah.
Yeah, because the second Baldur fight had already happened. Right?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. I believe so.
Actually, no. No, it didn't happen. It's Modi and them are before Baldur.
The second one.
Yeah, the second one, yep.
Yeah, because they come back and they already have all the stuff to go to Jotunheim. And
he's trying to get into Yoda, and then Baldur messes that up, remember? Or Kratos technically messes it up.
But yeah, that transition from when Atreus gets sick, and
he's on his own for a little bit.
And then you go back to Freya,
that boat ride,
and Freya tells you, like, look, you got to go to Helheim and, kill the guardian of the gate or whatever, and I need his heart. Yeah.
No big deal,
his
right?
Actual heart. Like,
no big deal, right? Just go get his heart, right?
So, and of course, there's little hints throughout the game, because there's areas you can't reach and stuff without certain abilities. And there's this one, like, they call them brambles, I think, or whatever, or hell brambles or whatever.
The branches or whatever?
Yeah, they look like little ice branches. It was kind of weird at first because...
I thought we were going to get fire arrows, actually.
That's what I thought, because when you got the electric arrows.
Yeah, I was like,
and I was like, oh, cool, he's going to get, he's going to get some fire arrows. And then I started thinking about it, and I was like, no, that kind of wouldn't make any sense. Like, why give him 3 options and Kratos only 1? with his bare fist. And then I was like, he's more than likely gonna get these back. It's like it only makes sense. It was like as the game was progressing and the little
Were you
hints
happy
started
you
hacking.
got him back?
Oh yeah, bro, because that not only does that completely change the way you play, period.
Yeah. The combos
Like,
you could do with the axe, the blade, and then the fist.
Because once you start actually messing around with it and then figuring out which runic attacks you like to use more or less. Like,
what'd you think of those two?
God.
The runic
Oh,
attacks?
those are awesome. By the way, if you don't have Meteoric Smash, you aren't playing the game right. You are not playing it right.
There's some epic ones.
Nemean Crush and the Meteoric Smash or whatever, you can only buy that from Brock and Sindri in their shop, by the way.
Yeah.
It's their heavy runic attack, which costs a lot of stuff. A lot of high level crap. But yeah. Oh my god. Like that's actually kind of what made the Blades of Chaos like.
Do you like their purpose
like
as well? Like
game.
The fire and ice, like the axe is ice, fire.
Yes. Well, like I said, that was a cool way to throw hints at you throughout the game.
Yeah, it was.
That you are going to be getting these things back. But the way they introduce that, like the way that Atreus, tries to go all Spartan Rage, gets sick, his sickness is coming back, which is kind of weird that his sickness is supposedly related to the fact that he doesn't know he's a god. I'm not really sure how that works.
That was a big...
that's kind of weird.
That was a big thing in the storyline that, Kratos did not want to reveal that he was a god to Atreus.
Well, think about this, because is it the Jotun side of him that's affected from the Greek god side of him?
I think
or is it the Greek, like, the Spartan rageness trying to come out that's making him sick? And the Jotun
for me,
side
I
to, like,
interpreted
hide it back.
it as these gods, a lot of gods like to loathe and, show that they're godly, and they always got to know that they're a god. Like, they let people know that they're a god. And I took it as, Atreus never really got naturally to do that. So that's why I took it as that, that's how they get sick. Gods get sick if they don't, say they're a god. Like me, the GG.
Levi doesn't feel like Levi unless he acknowledges.
Yeah, I have to acknowledge every day to all the GG Nation, GG Legion.
Or twice a week.
But that's kind of how I interpreted that. But I like how much deeper you thought about it than I did. I took it very simplistically.
Well, because it really, like, no offense to how you think and what your opinion is, but like to me that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I know what you're talking. Yeah, I know.
I'm looking for a legit concrete reason
we might not know
Atreus for some reason has asthma.
We might not know until like the next game or deeper down the line.
Well, he's fine for the rest of the game.
Yeah,
he is completely fine for the rest of the game. He's like sick for like 5 more minutes and then he's fine.
Yeah,
and actually, he's more of a dick.
Were you disappointed you didn't get to fight the World Serpent?
Can we? No.
Especially
because of how the ending and
we'll talk about what do you want to talk about next?
We need to talk about the blades, bro.
Yeah.
The way you go about getting the blades, and of course Atreus ends up sick. You got to go to Helheim, collect this thing's heart, but you have to obviously go back to your house.
I love that moment.
The isolation. And the thing
that boat ride alone.
That boat ride is like, oh my god! Like the whole game just kind of at that point just kind of like sits into your lap and just like it just feels so right. Like everything comes together.
Like everything around you too just looks stormy and messed up.
Well, yeah, because it's also bringing in what Kratos hates most about his past and
those damn Greek gods, man.
When the fade goes from one side of Kratos' body to the other, and then Athena pops
Were you
in front
expecting
of you
to see her? I was hoping we would.
Remember, we kind of heard her voice?
Yeah, and I was like, are we going to see her? And I love, like you said, that transition was so beautiful in that boat ride.
And then she just appears. And then the same thing happens when he opens them up, and,
Yeah, when he gets to the house.
By the way, the Greek, his cloth or whatever that it's wrapped in, and you just see him sitting there, which, by the way, they looked old.
Yeah, they looked rusted.
Tattered. They looked beat up.
Yeah, they looked like they weren't
looked rusted, but they looked like they had been
They've been in a lot of But you're right. They've been really messed up. Like they were really messed
and
up.
he picks him up, and then he has his line. You know, Athena goes, "You can never change, Kratos. You'll always be a monster."
And he just walks right through it. I love that.
And you know, he stops and says, "At least I'm not your monster."
Yeah.
And walks through.
That
and then you go outside and you have to fight the ice guys, and the only way you can kill the ice guys is with the Blades of Chaos. And it adds this whole nother layer of combat.
It does. It goes much deeper.
It's so good. It's probably the best introduction of a weapon in any game ever.
Yeah. It was really good. I love that scene, like that acceptance, like, hey, I'm not your monster, and just walks right through her. You're nothing anymore. Like
it's like, and you kind of get it again later on in the game when they go into Tyr's vault.
Yeah.
And you see the vase.
Yeah.
And he kind of has he has that flashback again.
Well, what's on the vase?
And he destroys the vase. It's him killing all the
Greek gods. Yeah. Because Tyr,
but
he's the god of war in this realm.
But you think when he has that moment with Athena, like you think that's like his moment where he leaves the past behind, but no, it still comes back. Like every little thing still reminds Kratos of all the shit he's done in the past.
This is what I want to talk about. Like you just brought him up, Tyr. Just Tyr. I love this fact about the game. There's so many big presences around, but they're not actually there. Around. You feel them though. You feel tears,
and you get. I think
like Odin, Thor. You feel all those guys.
I think you get that feeling more when you see Thamur and the World Serpent.
Yes,
and you see that these beings here are supernatural. Like they're not normal.
Yeah.
And you kind of get that sense with when you meet Baldur the first time, when those giant footsteps or whatever, he's making so much noise, and then all of a sudden you open the door and it's the little old
and
Baldur.
Even Seidri and Brock, because they can just like teleport anywhere.
Oh yeah, that whole thing where you figure out how they do that and figure out who they are.
Yeah, they're dwarfs.
That's such a that's this story, like so many story payoffs.
Yeah, big time, big time.
And they nail them home too. Like
they really do.
They're not soft.
Let's talk about Tyr really quick, because he's the god of war in this realm.
Yeah.
Or was. He's dead now, I think.
Oh, because technically Odin is also a god of war.
Yeah, true. Very true. He's like Odin's like Zeus. He's like the head god in this realm.
Well, no, like it's just like how it was before. Tyr was the god of the realm.
Yeah.
And then was overthrown by Odin.
Yeah, very true. But and then
Odin became All-Father, and that's who they consider the main person of
Zeus and Odin have some parallels, though, for sure. They're definitely...
Yes and no.
They're definitely the big bads in the
Zeus
looming shadow.
Yeah, no, Zeus ruled more with an iron fist and hand. Odin does it more via mind tricks and mind games.
Manipulation.
Yeah.
Manipulation, and he likes to make you think about what you did. That's why he cursed his wife Freya.
Odin's a little more like, I'm going to sit in the background and I'm just going to let the stuff affect you, rather than actually being the person who affects you.
They do mention that he is coming for Kratos now. When he kills one particular character, his grandchild.
I don't believe that, though.
Well,
I honestly don't.
Did you talk to Seidri after that? After you kill them? Or you killed one of them?
They reference that Odin could come after them.
What he exactly said was his words. He's like, oh, did you hear that Odin's like super pissed and he's coming over? And he's like, oh, wait. Oh, yeah, it was you. It was you.
But at the same time, like, I think a big reason why you don't see Thor and Odin show up is because of the World Serpent.
Yeah.
So
World Serpent has beef with Thor, for sure.
There's a weird connection between all of them. But Baldur's obviously not afraid of the World Serpent.
No, he wrecked the World Serpent.
So, no, I wouldn't say
he knocked him over. He shoved him over.
He punches him a couple times in the gut. He upsets the stomach.
But it's really... Let's talk about Tyr, though. But what do we see in Tyr's vault that kind of shows us that we might be able to go into other realms?
Well, this is actually something supposedly sits concrete in Norse mythology, is that their Tyr could walk between the realms.
Yeah.
Which they're considering the realms to be,
Greek.
in different areas of the world. Of course, this game takes place where supposedly all these different deities and gods and religions and whatnot.
They all share like the same.
Yeah, they all share the same planet. They're just in different geographical locations. But so Tyr could visit, and it looks like he has visited
everywhere.
Egypt, Greece,
some sort of Asia, Japan or something.
I do believe Barlog himself said it was some sort of Japanese symbol. I've looked it up multiple times. I can't find that symbol in any Japanese reference.
Thing is,
I've seen it in like a Celtic reference, but not.
Well, there is a Japanese. Celtic reference too, like you said.
No. The one I thought was Celtic was Japanese.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
The other one's actually Norse. So
okay. So
I mixed it up, but I can't find the Japanese symbol. Like, I've looked and I couldn't find it.
It's
I'm sure it's out there.
I don't know the Japanese god of war, so I gotta look him up.
No,
I don't know him, but there's a lot of cool Japanese gods that I would love to see.
There's a lot of cool mythologies.
Technically, we used all these gods before in Persona 5.
Well, you can also reuse the Greek gods and make them into the Roman versions.
Very true. Very true. I'm sure they will. But that to me opened up a lot, where it kind of explained how he kind of he can kind of go to other places now.
I just got a really weird idea, but we'll talk about it later.
They technically, what do you really think of this? Because they don't really explain how Kratos kind of got here. They just say he kind of washed up in a shore.
Well, it's kind of cool how God of War 3 ends.
Yeah.
He falls off the ledge, and you don't hear anything of Kratos.
For a long time.
And from what this tries to tell you is that literally he washed up on this shore, and Faye happened to be the person who found him.
Yeah.
And healed him back up, and then some way they fell in love with each other.
Yeah.
Probably because...
How dare you?
Well, no, I mean, it makes sense because supposedly, she's the last of the giants.
Yeah, that's the big reveal. She is a giant.
She is supposedly this great warrior. So...
But don't think of giant
at one time, does Kratos
people?
Impress Faye, or does Faye impress Kratos? Like, how'd that work out? Like, how'd they actually end up getting together?
Don't think... Atreus explains that giants are just a race of people. They don't have to be big. They could be... Kratos' wife was normal size, or she could shrink to normal size, or whatever. Let's just fast forward a little bit. What do you think of the ending? Like, what do you...
Are we talking about the
big reveal at the ending and everything?
My big reveal is not the secret ending. The secret ending.
No. We're talking about that later. I'm talking about us walking up after you kill Baldur.
After you kill Baldur, you go to Jotunheim.
Do you think that was it, or you thought there was gonna be like one more boss fight or something?
No, I mean,
I thought it was it.
I thought something could have happened at Jotunheim.
Yeah.
I didn't think there was gonna be another big fight because that last fight
was epic.
Is really long.
It is.
It's like a 35, 40-minute fight.
It's a good...
At least it seemed like that. But the payoffs you get for them reaching their destination and Kratos accepting his son as his son.
Yeah.
Allowing him to carry the ashes of his dead mother up to the tallest peak and...
What she wanted.
Yeah, and together... and also seeing, she was the last of the giants. You see the giants; they're dead. They're all over.
the giant.
All the giants are just all over the place. That shot is mind blowing because you see mountains and you see the giants reaching up to where the sun is. I guess that's what.
You're all dead.
and they're just stone statues, and it's real sad. And at the same time, when they're releasing the ashes and they start glowing, and I'm sitting here, I'm oh my god, is this gonna reawaken all these giants? Are they gonna come back? What's this gonna do? And nothing happens, and I was just oh no, it really was just kind of a tribute to her.
That was her last wish.
I mean, obviously it makes sense now why she wanted to go back to Jotunheim.
It's her home.
And they alluded that to the beginning of the story when they first met Freya.
Yes.
And you know, they were like, oh, where are you going? Oh, we got to go to Jotunheim now because we figured out that's where the tallest peak was. Oh, why do you need to go there? We want to spread my mom's ashes. Oh, that's weird. Why would you do that?
Yeah.
So, like, one part of me was
well.
like, well, why would they do that?
Yeah.
Because, you know, there's no other example of people dying and, you know, what they do with people or dead bodies.
The axe, Kratos' axe is actually
and
Laufey's
I
axe.
like how they don't really give you that information until
later,
like 3/4 of the way through the game.
Yeah. Like we're going towards the end.
When they, I think it's when Brock and Sindri actually
reunite
back together and they finally spill the beans about the axe.
Yeah.
Which was kind of, I mean, it's pretty cool. And the story behind the axe itself and why they actually tried to make the axe and what its purpose is.
Well, what was Sindri and Brock's biggest problem?
They made Mjolnir and they're pissed off about it.
Yeah, they're really, well, because Thor uses Mjolnir to kill everybody.
Like, and now, that's one thing we're getting into at the end. And we've kind of talked about it a little bit.
Well, we got to talk about one more big thing right after that. I just want to know your initial thoughts. It was so beautiful to me.
By the way, that axe is...
It is epic.
I think it's like top 5 weapons for me ever in video games.
But that ending, you know, when they spread Faye / we find out she's Laufey the giant. You know, we spread her ashes. It was such a beautiful ending to a game like ever. It was so beautiful. And then you kind of start walking down. They mentioned, hey, you can go back home, but we'll go there later. We'll talk about that later. But I love that, you know, Brock and Sindri, you know, before you go up and ascend, they're like, hey, we'll hold the head for you.
You're really bad with names.
Why?
You cannot say his name to save your life. And you did the same thing with Tyr after you...
Yeah, I say it how I want to say it. But it's funny how they kind of just left Mimir there.
It's not Sindri, it's Sindri, bro.
Sindri. It's funny how they just left
Sindri,
his...
it's not Sindri.
It's funny how they left the head there. Like, they just left Mimir, like, lying there. Like, we're just bouncing.
And then Brock walks up and he's like, yeah, we just give you to them. And he's like, yeah, he took a bunch of whole weird measurements and yada, yada, yada. Which actually, my favorite part of the entire game is the first time they go to Hell... Or no. Is it the first time they go to Helheim? When he goes to get the heart.
Yes.
And the whole Zeus thing happens.
Yeah.
And Zeus, like, faces in the sky.
Do you think we were going to fight that giant bird?
And Mimir, no.
I wanted to fight that giant bird so bad.
Because when you went back and you couldn't get past a certain point, you kind of realized. You should go actually look into what that could be.
Yeah,
it's a good story.
It's interesting, yeah.
But,
because he watches over death or whatever, right?
It's
the crow or something.
Mimir himself hears Kratos say Zeus. And he goes, did you just say Zeus? And Kratos was like, yes.
Yeah.
He was my father. And he's like, oh, this all makes sense now. I've been dangling from the hips of the ghost of Sparta for all this time.
I love how he mentioned that, the ghost of Sparta.
That was my favorite line in the entire game. When he said that, I freaked. I was like, oh my god, like...
But let's go...
And that like, drops the whole bomb about, you know, how all this stuff is so interconnected.
Yeah.
Like, how Mimir literally knows.
Everything.
And everybody else knows who the fuck Kratos is.
Yeah.
Like, even Freya. Like, Freya's like, yeah, I know who you are.
Yeah.
Like, you don't know us, but we know who you are.
Well, even Baldur, even when he first meets you, he's like, I know who you are.
No, I think Baldur actually doesn't. I think that's why he fights Kratos, because he thinks Kratos is Faye. So he's looking for...
He wouldn't know his mom?
He doesn't know what he's looking for, because no one knows that Faye is the last Jotun. So he just shows up knowing that, oh my god, the last Jotun could be here. He doesn't know what who it is. That's why he assumes it's Kratos, and he even says it. I figured you'd be bigger. When he goes to fight him the first time, when he's first looking at him. That's what popped in my head. Is like, oh, he thinks he could be a giant. Like,
interesting. But he knows who his mom is. He knew his mom cursed him and everything.
Oh, no. Yeah, you knew Baldur. Baldur knew who Freya was.
He knows that, yeah.
But that doesn't mean he would know who Faye is.
That's
what I'm saying.
Sorry, I'm confusing Freya for Faye. Yeah, my bad.
When Baldur goes to look for Faye, Because he's not looking for Kratos.
Yeah.
I think that's what everybody mixes up with the first part of the game. Like, he's not looking for Kratos.
He's looking for Faye, yeah.
He's looking for the last Jotun.
And I like that. I do mention that is a reference to the Giants where he's like, I thought you would be big.
Yeah. So this whole time he thinks Kratos is a giant. So that's why he keeps fighting Kratos. Yeah. It's like, no, bro. Like, really? You're just looking for Atreus.
It's really
he didn't even know that Atreus... Because he even says it. Like, turns out this whole time... I didn't need you. I needed the boy.
Yeah. Before we go to the big reveal of the boy, let's talk about what you think of the crafting system. That you could actually change his armor and stuff.
I actually didn't like it as much because there's a lot of irrelevant armors.
I feel like you don't really need a lot of it.
I kind of wish they would have just more or less focused on 2 or 3 sets, kind of like a progression thing.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, so there's only a couple sets you do need, like the epics.
You had the legend, like, in my eyes, like, the way this could have worked better, at least for the armor.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have any complaints about how to upgrade the axe, or to upgrade the blades, or how the pommels worked.
You like the sockets that was actually and everything cool. Like that, too? Those were cool.
Well, the sockets are the runic attacks.
Yeah. Well, no, you could put, like, extra...
Oh, you're talking... Yeah, because that was all just... That's all gameplay style.
Yeah, it's just
however you like to play, you can enhance that your own gameplay by using the sockets. But I kind of wish it was a little more like, instead of, you get green armors early in the game, then blue armors kind of like midway, and then purple armors are a little harder to get, and then the gold armors.
They do a good job giving you a free one, though.
Yeah, but I kind of wish they would have just were like, okay, we're going to give you a green armor to kind of like start the game. And then we're going to introduce you to another set of armor that we're going to give you objectives to go get. So instead of making, because the Brock and Sindri things...
They're not that good armor, yeah.
Yeah, well, it's not that they weren't good armor, but sometimes it wasn't always armor. Sometimes it was like one of those socket things or whatever else.
Like when you do that dwarf quest for them, the Dwarf King quest, it's mad late. It's mad late.
Yeah, that armor sucks.
And the armor sucks. Yeah, it's like you.
But
the story was great.
It shows you that
the story.
But that's also part of that's one of the trophies.
Yeah.
Is to make that set armor.
Yeah.
Because it is kind of like a trial.
It is.
So
sure.
I mean, it makes sense and why it's a trophy. And why
before we got off tangent, we were at the ending. We're talking about the ending. There's a couple big reveals at the ending, and Atreus is actually Loki the whole time.
Okay, the Loki reveal isn't relevant. And the reason why I say that is because...
I thought that was crazy. That blew my mind. I was like, whoa!
It was kind of like a crazy thing.
I was like, holy...
When you get the explanation of why they didn't call him Loki, it made sense.
Well, Kratos won that fight. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
Laufey wanted to call him Loki.
You really shouldn't. You should really just call her Faye. I hate the fact that you call her Laufey.
Well, that's who she is.
I don't even know if she's mentioned as Laufey in the game.
She is.
What does Mimir say it when he pulls back the curtain one time?
If you go back, when you go back after that ending scene and you go talk to Sindri and them, they all talk about Laufey.
Sindri.
Whatever. I'm gonna call it whatever.
I'm surprised you don't get blasted by your nation, bro, because you mispronounce.
They can't. Do not define me.
You mispronounce so many names. Like it bugs me while I'm sitting here, so I correct you all the time.
But yeah, you can call her Faye. It's just her name's Faye.
It's just easier because they reference her as Faye.
Yeah.
In the entire game.
But
like I missed that Laufey part. So
you had to go right back to them after the gate and go talk to them.
I mean, you have to do that anyways.
Yeah, and I sat there and had a combo with them. So it's just like
kind of like a boom. They say
you know how you can hit triangle
like one
to
of
talk
those
to them.
Things.
It's one of those.
Okay, so it's one of those one-timers.
Yeah.
If you miss it, you miss it.
Yeah. It was cool though. I really liked that. But she had
her reveal itself of her actually being the last giant was cool. It made a lot of sense.
It did. It made total sense.
It actually kind of completed the story as to why Kratos is the one to get Leviathan.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why does Kratos have this really powerful axe? No one
last
really knows. It really didn't really make sense. And like, why Kratos has this badass axe? Because obviously someone had to make it. You know, it wasn't Kratos who made this. It's some... Because it reminded me of the blades. Because once you started upgrading it and you could do the ice attacks and everything else,
you get more attacks for it too.
You know, this is very like Blade-like. Like, these are getting upgrades to where, like, there's elemental discharges and shit like that. Like,
Yeah.
they remind me of the blades. So, I knew this weapon itself had weight. So I just didn't know, like, where
Why?
the weight or
Why?
you know. And that paid off at the end with her reveal.
But for me, I thought the Loki reveal was epic. I thought it was really cool. I was like, wow. Was not expecting it.
It's a cool nugget. The reason why I think it's irrelevant is because I do believe Atreus is... I don't believe we're ever going to get to the point where Atreus is ever considering himself Loki.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, no, he already says, I'm Atreus. I'm glad you named me Atreus. No, but that's
what I'm saying. Because he himself actually likes the name better.
And Kratos explains why he did name him Atreus, too, as well. Where, he named him after a Spartan warrior that, he... I
didn't really like that story.
Yeah, I liked it. I thought it was cheesy. Nice. I thought it was just nice.
It was...
But there's another big reveal on the painting as well. What, do you want to talk about that?
After I complained a little more about that Atreus story, it was.
I thought that was great.
Yeah, but it was trying to like find a glimpse of Kratos' past that he remembered being good, and I was like, why did you have to do that with? Why couldn't that have been your mom and your, your wife and your kid? Why did that have to be some random dude? Named Atreus?
Well, it is a Spartan name. It definitely isn't a Norse name for sure.
No, yeah, it's a Greek name.
It's an out of place name in this world that they're in.
Not to mention, I just think Atreus is a better name than Loki. Anyways.
Yeah, I like Loki in general, and like I said, I thought Baldur was Loki at first, but then you realize who.
Well, honestly, that's something that could have been left out of the game.
Yeah,
and it wouldn't have made the game better or worse in any way. Like, I just kind of think that's one of those things that they threw in there just to kind of make it a little more twisty.
Yeah, I guess
maybe. A little, like, for the people who needed that little bit extra steak sauce on their steak.
Tomato.
They put, you know how you order a steak at a steakhouse, and they're like, oh, just in case you want the steak sauce, here it is.
I really thought it was cool. I thought it was epic that he actually was Loki. Does he become Loki in this universe? Probably not, but... It's there. It's hanging above.
That's why I don't really care for it.
But what does that picture show?
I also don't want to care about the picture because I also believe that isn't going to come to fruition in any game. Like, it's kind of like an Easter egg. It's just kind of there. It's one of those things that isn't supposed to happen for God knows how long. Are we going to get the explanation to it in a game in the future? I doubt it. It's just kind of one of those things that, like, hey, here's a little thing to dwell on.
Well, explain what it is.
It could be. It's supposedly a picture. It's supposedly a picture of Kratos dying.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I said supposedly, because he could not be dying. He could just be laying there. And Atreus is like behind him, and though for some reason the world serpent is spewing out of Atreus's mouth, which is a little weird. But supposedly, who the world serpent is one of Loki's children.
Yes.
They don't really go into detail about that.
Yet. They don't yet.
And a lot of people are suspecting that. A lot of people are suspecting that picture kind of represents Loki turning Kratos into the world serpent.
Yeah. Some people are taking
that. Also doesn't really make sense. I more or less think that picture represents Kratos' death brings forth the birth of Jormungandr.
Yeah. Jormungandr. Well, it's funny, if you meet Jormungandr, a lot of people, like you said, or a lot of people are theorizing he has the goatee, kind of has the pale skin like Kratos. He doesn't look green. He's not a typical world serpent. He's really cool. I like him a lot. I like how he talks, too. He's just...
Well, no, I know it's not Kratos.
It's probably not. Kratos.
He doesn't have any red paint on his body.
He doesn't have the red
scar. He just red eye sockets. He doesn't have the scar in his eye. Does he?
I doubt it will be Kratos, but it looks like they might explore that a little bit because the World Serpent is
You're not going to explore it because this is God of War, not Atreus of War.
Yeah, I felt like they were trying to pass the torch onto him.
Actually, that's...
But I don't think they're going to.
I'm really scared of.
Yeah, I hope they don't do that. I don't want
an Atreus game. I don't want to... like, I honestly don't even know if I want to see Atreus in the next game, if there is one.
There is. They already said it's in Norse mythology.
Yeah, well, it's not in concrete yet, so we'll worry about that when the time
comes. They already said. Corey confirmed.
Like I said, it's not in concrete yet.
He ready from the director's mouth. They're going in Norse mythology. I think they'll do 3 games and then they'll go another round.
I do not want to see 3 games because I don't think they could drag this out for 3 more games.
So only 2 games?
One more tops. They can do literally one more, just like they just did. Make it a little more Kratos related instead of having it be a father-son story.
I don't think.
I kind of want to see Atreus go have his own trials, and then like Kratos has to just deal with the shit that's going on in Asgard.
Because they kind of opened the world up for time travel, sort of, in this, a little bit.
Not time travel,
but like realm travel, whatever.
Yeah.
Like there's different, because Jormungand is Loki's kid from the future. But he's still hanging out here now.
Well,
he's sent back
like
to kill Thor.
He's not sent back. Their clash sends him back.
Yeah. He's supposed to fight. He's supposed to fight Thor. He hates Thor.
Well, that's the other thing. Like, since technically this has already happened, you see the picture. The World Serpent's now in the present. He can't give birth to another World Serpent that's already in this world.
Yeah.
So, technically, the story's already finished. Mm-hmm. So, where's it gonna go? Like, how's it gonna unfold? I want to see what I would like to see in the second game, if there is one.
There is.
I want it to be more directly related to that battle or that struggle between the Serpent and Thor. Because obviously Ragnarok would have to be a part of that.
Well, they mentioned what happens at the end of the game. Like, Ragnarok's getting ready to happen.
Well, Winterfell starts, which...
Well, yeah, the heavy winter.
It could be, they say it could last up to X amount of years. So,
yeah, it'll be
you don't know how long.
It'll be a little while.
Because even then, like, the end credits or the...
Let's talk about the secret
I'll
ending.
call it the end credit scene because that's exactly what it is.
What's the secret end credit scene? Talk about.
Well, they give you a soft credit when you do the Jotunheim stuff.
Yeah, they do.
Which is really cool. It's
real
like classy. And they give you the option because it's not set up as something you have to do. They just kind of reopen the world to you.
Yeah.
And they mention, you should go back home and rest.
Yep.
And you don't, like I said, you don't have to. You go do other stuff, which I did. I went and did multiple hours of other things.
Yeah, I talked to CJ and Brock for a little bit.
So when I finally was like, you know what? I don't know if this game's going to actually end when I do go back home. Because I knew something,
you want to do everything
I knew something
first.
happened.
Yeah.
So I did a lot of stuff before I did go back. And then, of course, I was just like, screw it. If I have to, I'll just replay the game to get to platinum it. Glad I don't have to.
They're really nice.
It's so beautiful that you can just hop right back into it. But yeah, you get the little end credit scene where you guys fall asleep, which, by the way, you don't take Mimir's head off your hip when you fall asleep.
Yeah, so he's suffocating.
You're literally laying on Mimir the whole freaking time. But yeah, supposedly they wake up, which was obviously years later. And there's
big thunderstorm.
Loud. I wouldn't say there's thunderstorms. I would just say there's loud claps of lightning.
Yeah.
And it's really windy outside. And they open the door and you see more lightning and you see this big ominous figure just standing there all
Who are you?
Yeah. I do like the way he yells that.
Yeah, he goes, "Who are you?" And then what do you see on the hill?
Yeah, it's just Mjolnir. It's a cool little reveal.
But what happens after that though?
Well, you go back to sleep.
You wake up and you're like, "Hey, that was just a dream."
Of course.
But it could be foreshadowing.
Real,
I think we're fighting Thor in the next game. Thor and Odin, probably.
I actually don't think you're gonna fight Thor.
You think he's gonna be an
No,
ally?
This is gonna be my knife in your side. Like, I'm gonna twist this a little bit, and I want to kind of get your opinion about it.
Yeah, go ahead.
I actually think the reason why Thor is not relevant in this first game is because he's on a redemption trip. Thor is trying to redeem himself to the people of Asgard.
Yeah, but where are you getting that from, though? What?
No, this is just kind of like
your feeling,
my gut feeling on because of think about how much shit is talked about Odin and Thor.
Yeah, they
in
talk a
this
lot
video
of
game.
shit about Odin and Thor.
And there's not a lot of
Not good
redeeming
things.
qualities in any of those stories. Thor has one where he does something for good. It ends up being really bad.
Yeah.
And Mimir's like telling you about it, and then what he did to Thamur was kind of weird, just because he was a young, drunk musclehead.
Yep.
It
was a competition quest.
That's also a cool way to depict Thor, because that's kind of what he is. Like, he is just kind of this muscle drunk, big doofus.
Hey, you know what? Chris Hemsworth has a lot more to him. Okay. I'm just
if you go back to Thor 1,
I'm
he
just
kind of
listening.
is more of that muscle drunk big doofus. And he kind of like develops into, you know,
a better character for sure. Yeah, a better person.
But no,
that'd be interesting if Thor was your ally.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
that'd be
Thor,
really interesting.
Thor comes back, knows that you've killed his bastard child, because
one of them.
Actually,
both of them.
You technically killed both of them.
You did kill both of them.
Because I don't believe those are good characters either. Like, I hope, like, they are bad characters.
But you
like,
remember what
like good guys.
Who's the little one?
Modi.
Remember when Modi was like, he's like, I went back to my father and he threw me out, blah blah, and talked all ill about me because he was all beat up and everything. And then that's when Atreus was like, hey, I'm a god, I can do what I want.
This is when he was on his power trip.
We didn't talk about the power trip.
Yeah, we did.
Did we?
I mentioned it multiple times.
All right,
you didn't mention it. That's your thing.
That was the only part I didn't like when he power tripped. When he was just like
all the time. I was like, I wanted that R2 button. I wanted to smash.
But to me, that end credit scene, I feel like that was definitely an ode to the next game. I think that'd be really interesting, but I really want to kill him. Well, I really want to kill Thor.
Think about this.
That'd be a fun boss fight.
If they're doing it that way and you're still getting rid of gods.
Could you imagine if you kill Thor and take Mjolnir,
yeah,
though?
but you have to kill Freya now, too. So in the next game, you're going to be killing Freya, you're going to be killing Thor, you're going to be killing Odin, and you're going to leave your son to become the Allfather of Asgard?
Technically, it's heavily hinted at. I don't know if it's Mimir or the brothers. When you pick up the head, Freya technically can't fight you or whatever, can't hurt you because that's her curse. That's Odin's curse.
I don't think she can hurt other gods.
Like that's her weird curses. Like she can't like fight or something. It's something weird.
I don't think it has anything to do.
She
with
mentions
fighting,
Odin
though.
cursed her for doing
that. Yeah, but
she
cursed her to like she can't leave Midgard.
Yeah, she has to like hang out
there. That's her only thing. Like I don't think it has anything to do with fighting.
It does. If you go back and rewatch that scene on YouTube,
so
they mention it.
But like remember,
because she tried, she couldn't. Like you said, she took Samir's corpse to use it.
Okay, but remember, like I said, she can still fight, but maybe she just can't be a Valken fight.
Mm. But it's heavily hinted at with Mimir.
Because I think that's more or less her punishment is that she's no longer Queen Bee Valk.
Yeah, basically, yeah. But there's mentions that she is trying to get like that old armor back, that old Valkyrie armor back, or something, or trying to come hard at you because of what you did. But you did the right thing, in my opinion. He had to go. He was gonna kill. He had to go.
Sure.
But before we end the podcast,
I actually think that was the coolest way for that fight to end.
Yeah.
Because I really thought we're gonna let her die. Like this is gonna be nice.
Well, I would have been cool.
I wanted to let her die, and I wanted Baldur to turn around and really like step it up a notch and like go back after you because he wanted to die, and obviously you just kind of finished the fight for her.
I wish they would let you like.
And he gets both releases. Like that would have been really cool. Actually,
the neck snapping. They didn't let you do that, and you just watch it happen. I wish they would let you just like R2, R1.
So kill her and then kill him.
No, I wanted to see when he was holding Baldur.
No, the fact that that's a cutscene is so much more impactful.
It was super impactful. But I would love to. I still would have.
Because it puts you more in Freya's shoes. Because
and she snaps.
But she knows she's helpless too, because I think she kind of even thinks about it at the end when she's trying to like smite Kratos.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Do I really want to do this?" Because Like,
None of
I
the scenes
just
do.
watched him whoop my son's ass and my ass. And
Well,
can I really kick his ass?
It was really strange too, because like you said, it's a real twist with Freya when she's very helpful in the, like first half of the game, second
She's
half.
a god, bro. As soon as you figure out the fact that she's a god,
No trust.
Any good thing she's ever done goes out the window.
Yeah,
It doesn't
very
matter
true. Yeah,
because all of these gods have done good and bad things.
Yeah, and like we talked about earlier, there's really no good or bad.
No.
They just do what they
just
want to
do.
do.
What they want to do.
They just do what they want to do.
People.
And
that's what makes them bad in Kratos' eyes, because Kratos has seen the worst of the worst.
Yes, he has.
Including himself.
Yeah.
So he knows, and that's what he wants to stop.
Real quick thought before we end this. Any thoughts of DLC, or do you want none?
I want no DLC. There is no need to add anything to this game. It is the most complete game I've played, single player wise, not including JRPGs and some other RPGs.
Yeah.
Just because they're always more story complete. Usually
I
complete
know.
games.
This was a really complete
Final
game,
Fantasy
like you said.
15
It was like
was obviously a clusterfuck.
Like this was the beginning to end.
Yeah, this is the complete package. This is the best game on the PlayStation 4. You could argue that this might even be the best game of the generation.
Well, you nailed it on the head. Like you said, 95 Metacritic. I was like more 92, 93. I thought 95. This game literally only has one game for competition for Game of the Year, and it's Spider-Man. I'm joking.
I honestly don't think this.
It's Red Dead.
I really don't think Red Dead's even gonna kind of hold up to it, just because it's coming out so late. And that might be the only thing that's like kind of.
That's the only two that are gonna fight for it. There's no other contenders, in my opinion. Those two will fight for Game of the Year.
This is gonna be my stance this year already. I'm gonna call it. It's gonna be another April game in my eyes that should win GOTY. For sure. Not even like it's.
But for me,
even a second,
on DLC,
it's not even like a second guess for me.
I think it's gonna happen. There's two things I can think of that could happen.
Smash Brothers could do it.
This is what I think could happen for DLC. We could see the story of Kratos getting to Norse, getting to the realm, meeting Faye, actually seeing.
Is this just your like hopes and dreams for DLC? Because there is going to be none.
I think there's going to be. It's all the major games that were successful got DLC. Horizon got DLC.
They've already said no.
Spider-Man's already going to have DLC.
Barlog's already said no.
Huh?
Barlog's already said no DLC.
Okay. We'll see if that happens. I just think two things.
Bro, this goes with the whole thing that he said before it even came out. It's like, yeah, this game has no microtransactions. This game is completely beautiful. This game is great.
Well, neither did Horizon. Horizon didn't have any microtransactions.
This game deserved every ounce of hype it got built up.
But the other thing I could think of too, they'll probably save it for the next game.
This game pays off all the storylines.
It does.
It's so good.
But I want to meet Faye. I want to know her. We didn't get to know her, and I want to see that.
You know what? I don't, because I like how it adds to the mystery of.
Yeah, it does. Some
Norse
stories are not meant to be told, right?
Yeah.
You know. But the other thing I could think of is we didn't get to go to all the realms. We couldn't go to. There was 3 other realms we couldn't go to.
That's what made me think there was going to be another game.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think they'll probably save that for another game because
it
Odin closed those off purposely.
Was it only 2?
There's 3. It was like Sylvesterheim.
Sylvesterheim.
I don't know how it's SLVR.
It's Svartalheim.
Svartalheim or something.
Svartalheim.
That there's what's the
Asgard?
Asgard, yeah, and there was one other one I don't remember. I should have looked before.
Is it Vanaheim?
Something like that.
Yeah, it's Freya's home. It's Vanaheim.
Yeah, boom. So those 3 we didn't go to. That's the only thoughts I could think of.
You can go to Muspelheim, you can go to Niflheim, you can go to Midgard,
you go to Alfheim,
Helheim, and you can go to Jotunheim.
Yep. But Jotunheim's kind of like its own thing. Like you only go there once, like that one time.
Actually, I kind of want to see if I can go back there.
You can. I tried.
You can? Or
you can't. I tried to go back there, and it won't let me.
Interesting.
It was, one deal, one boom.
Kind of weird.
But that's the only 2 thoughts I could think. I think
there was a lot of stuff cut out of that Jotunheim scene, by the way.
Maybe. Maybe
Well, I know he said that the whiteout that happens is them literally cutting the game and then like reinserting it.
I'm
Because
sure
they said there was a lot of unnecessary something in between there.
Well, they worked really hard on this game. 5 years really paid off for this studio. Santa Monica redefined a great character, I thought, already in Kratos.
Oh, by the way, great implementation of music throughout the whole.
Oh my god, it's so beautiful. Even the opening scene when you're just hammering the axe.
Oh
my god.
What a way to actually begin the game.
Yeah. Something so simple, but it was powerful.
It's just Kratos standing there.
But so powerful at the same time.
You click new game, you start the game, and then you go straight into game.
Yeah,
and the camera does not stop rolling from that point.
The Sony studios do an amazing job at this, like the seamlessness of transition of game to cutscene.
Santa Monica Studios?
It's so, like, all the Sony studios, they're all really good at it. You know, Naughty Dog's incredibly good. Yeah. There's so many times in Uncharted 4 I'm like, oh shit, I'm playing the game. Where it's like, it's not a cutscene anymore. Same thing with this. It's just so seamless. Just scene from, like, gameplay to scene.
Since you still have it, did you take off the HUD at any point in time?
I never even thought of to do that.
Oh.
What happened? Tell me. Spill the beans.
Just take off the HUD. You just don't have any of the icons on your screen. So it's literally just Kratos in the world. You don't have the weapon icon. You don't have the...
I didn't know you could actually take it out.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
It's immersive mode, bro. It's fucking amazing. It's a little difficult, but...
I'm sure it is, but it's good. It's really...
Because you actually notice a few more things, because that HUD actually does block out.
Final question. What's your final rating of this game?
This is a 10 out of 10 for me, bro. I have no reason to not rank this game perfect. I actually think it's better than Persona, and I thought Persona was the best PlayStation 4 game I've played.
They only get better, Chad. They only get better.
So yeah, I'm with all the rankings and ratings.
This is a masterpiece. Yeah. This is one of the best games ever. Like, this is really high. It was so good. Don't ever ask me to rank games because it would hurt.
That's actually a good point, because like I thought about like where would this rank on like my all-time list of games.
It's up there.
And I would say it is actually in my top 5 of games.
It's up there. I mean, it's a very emotionally story-driven. This is what I love about Sony. I'm so lucky to be a Sony fan.
Yeah, right.
Just the experience.
I feel so bad for people who have Xbox.
Like, I'm also lucky that I have all the consoles, so I can get all the experiences I need.
Not suffer.
But I'm
just kidding.
He's always like that. You guys know Chad by now.
Buy a PlayStation.
But I really am lucky that I have a company that has the same viewpoint I do. They really appreciate the single player experience. And story driven content.
They're very attentive to all their video games.
Yeah.
Especially anything they themselves have their hands on.
Yeah. Their studios in general.
You can see it.
Yeah.
In all their games.
So stay tuned for plenty more podcasts through and through. We're definitely going to do a lot. We're going to do a pre E3 one pretty soon here. We should get everybody together, talk about it. Get Night Phase, get Six, get Ricky, get a whole bunch of people.
Month and 2 weeks away or something like that.
Yeah, it's close. And then MegaCon.
Is it the end of June or beginning of June?
It's the beginning of June. It's like the second week of June.
Okay.
Then MegaCon's happening. We're going to talk all about that. We're going to have fun. Our experiences of MegaCon.
MegaCon's going to be a blast.
It's going to be so fun.
There's so many celebrities that are going to be there. We're going to try and probe Norman Reedus for as much Death Stranding information as possible.
Well, he's a fan of the show. He'll be on the episode.
In the live stream.
He ain't going to be able to spill anything, but it's going to be funny.
Obviously. I just want to ask him, like, how many times do you...
What do you think? Baby? 2019 for that game or 2020?
2020. It's a PlayStation 5 game.
I think it's a PS4 game.
I think it's a PS5 game.
But
I think Kojima even said that it is a PS4 game and it will come out on the PS4. But
I think it's a PS4 game. It'd be one of the swan songs. Next to Last of Us 2.
Like, it would be such a slap in the face to Konami and Xbox if that was just like the game that launched with the PS5.
I'm with you. I think Final Fantasy VII is going to launch with PS5.
Oh,
And they'll probably have something else. They'll have something else.
I don't think you got Final Fantasy 7 episode 1.
Probably Horizon Zero Dawn 2 probably too. The launch.
You won't see that for another 2 years. 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, so PS5. Boom.
Yeah, but it's not going to be like early launch for PS5.
Maybe midway. It'd be first year, I say.
No.
I think so. Because they already know what they want to do. They already talked about it.
Yeah, it's just... I know dev kits have supposedly gone out for PS5s.
Supposedly, it's true.
But that literally just happened.
Another conversation for another. Thank you, Chad, for joining me on this God of War Spoilercast.
Can't we just keep talking?
Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Tell us what you really think of God of War. And hopefully you enjoyed this podcast with Chad and I. It was a fun one. Thanks again, brother, for hopping on. And this was an amazing game, amazing experience.
Let us know your favorite R3 finishing combo.
Yeah. Definitely tell us that. Tell us your favorite characters as well. Man, they were all really great in their own way. That was fantastic. But Chad and the fellow GG.
For president.
Go ahead.
I'm done.
For your fella, Strauss fan of the GG, Chad, we're outie.